Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome to episode 3 of the product rule series on my channel. So today we're going to be doing a third question. The first video, actually let me tell you a little bit about the series. The first video of this series was a detailed intro into the product rule series. There I did like a breakdown and a very detailed analysis of like what you see whenever you when you see like a function, how you know you're supposed to apply the product rule, and the step-by-step process of applying the product rule. And I go into detail about how to solve questions the way I do all my all the content in my videos, inshallah. So today we're going to be doing number 3 of the questions that I've prepared, and in this one we're going to have the function to be y of x equals x cubed plus 1 multiplied by e to the x. So now we know we're going to apply the product rule. If you watch my favorite videos, you would know that product rule, I talked about how whenever you think of product rule, think of products, right? When you're in elementary school, primary school, and high school, whatever, whenever you heard the word product, you're talking about a multiplication, right? Something multiplied by something else. So if, for example, while you're in elementary school, they told you to get like the product of 8 and 10, what you're telling you is to multiply 8 by 10 or 8 times 10, and then you get 80. But in this particular case, you're going to apply product rule as a method of differentiating a function whenever within the function, 2 subfunctions can be seen to be multiplied by each other. So in this particular case, the entire function is basically x cubed plus 1 in bracket multiplied by e to the x, right? This entire thing is the function. But we can also see that x cubed plus 1 is a subfunction, which I'm going to call S1, subfunction 1, and then e to the x is subfunction 2. And we know that since 2 functions are multiplied by each other to get a main function, we're going to apply the product rule. So that's basically, if you have a little bit of if you want more better understanding, I'm going to advise you to watch my first 2 videos. I go into detail about like identifying when a function would need the product rule to be applied on it in order for you to solve it. And again, if you're just a student who is just reviewing my videos, you can just keep watching the practice videos, and you would know, like with knowledge and with explanation and all of that, you'll be able to handle the questions with time. So that's just basically my 2 cents. So now we have y of x equals x cubed plus 1 multiplied by e to the x, right? So now that we know that there are 2 subfunctions, x cubed plus 1, one subfunction, e to the x, the second subfunction, we can put a dot here, and this dot in calculus is not a decimal. It's for you to signify that this is a multiplication, this is a product rule. I always put the dot there for students who may be struggling to be able to see the 2 different subfunctions. Okay, so that's about it. So the first thing I'll advise you to do is for you to actually write what it looks like without actual numbers or without actual questions. So the general product rule function tends to look like this: y of x equals f of x, right, multiplied by g of x. So a subfunction multiplied by another subfunction, right? So now whenever we want to differentiate, we have y of x equals f of x multiplied by g of x, and we put all of this prime. If we put something as prime, is the same thing as just saying we're going to differentiate the entire function with respect to the variable, and in this case the variable is x. So y of x equals f of x multiplied by g of x, right? So basically we can either do all of this in bracket prime, or we can do d dx of the and put the entire thing in a bracket. You can do both. It all depends on you. I prefer the prime one because there's just less, it's clearer usually, but you pick whatever is good with you and with whatever like your professor would prefer you to use. And if he makes it that you can use anyone, you can use anyone. And I advise you to just do a lot of practice problems and show your teacher your work or your professor your work. And if he says, oh, your style is really good, or the way you explain this, it seems pretty clear, then you know that you have a good style to work with. But I'll advise that you learn both. And in these videos, I'm going to be using more of the prime. But when you watch more of my videos, I can use both basically. So now we're going to use the prime one. So we have y of x. And by the way, we're not even started solving. I'm just giving you a breakdown of what it would look like before actual questions are substituted. So this one basically is just saying, oh, the derivative of this product function, you're supposed to get the derivative of the first sub-function multiplied by the second sub-function. Put all of that in bracket plus the derivative of the second function, right, multiplied by the first function f of x. Yes, first sub-function, I apologize. So this is basically what you're trying to do. And in this particular case, we can just pick sub-functions, right? So we have x cubed plus 1, right, f of x, we can call that f of x, and then e to the x, we can call that g of x. And one thing I need you guys to know is that because of you're dealing with multiplication, right? Let me go to, please look at the black box I'm about to form now. Because you're dealing with multiplication, just because I'm calling something f of x, right, multiplied by g of x, it's also possible for you to have it as g of x multiplied by f of x. So you can literally end up with this and just do g prime of x multiplied by f of x plus f prime of x multiplied by g of x. You can do both. No, there is no issue. But because you're doing basically it's like saying, oh, 5 times 2 in bracket, all bracketed plus 2 times 4, right? 5 times 2 is 10, but then you say plus 2 times 4 is 8. 10 plus 8 is 18. You can also say 2 times 4 in bracket plus 5 times 2. You're gonna get the exact same thing. So both are fine whenever you're doing product rule. There is no issue. You can interchange f and x. I just prefer personally to not do that. So that is basically what we're doing here. And yeah, so basically this is what you have of like your work. So now we can now start substituting it, right? So I'm going to change the color to blue now. So now we have y of x equals x cubed plus 1, that's f of x, multiplied by e to the x, right? So all of that, sorry, apologize, the bracket is supposed to enclose the y of x. So all of this prime is the same thing as saying x cubed plus 1 prime multiplied by e to the x plus e to the x, all of that prime multiplied by x cubed plus 1, right? So that's basically what is going on here, and that's about it. So now that we already know and we've already worked with it, we can go ahead and do this, right? So this is this right here. We can just go ahead and just do x cubed plus 1 prime, all in bracket, multiplied by e to the x plus e to the x, all in prime, multiplied by x cubed plus 1, right? So now, what is the derivative of x cubed plus 1? We know the derivative of x cubed to be 3x. So if you use the power rule teaches you that you're going to drop the power of the variable and bring it in front of the variable and multiply it by the coefficient of variable. Coefficient of x in x cubed, right, is just 1. When you drop 3 down, 3 times 1 is 3, so you end up with 3x. But then whenever you've done the power rule, you have to reduce the power of that variable by 1. So now 3 minus 1 is 2, so you end up with 3x squared. I believe you should watch my power rule videos to be able to help you, inshallah. So you have 3x squared multiplied by e to the x plus e to the x, right? All prime. The derivative of e to the x is simply just e to the x. And then you just do that multiplied by x cubed plus 1. So yeah, so this is basically it. So x cubed plus 1 e to the x, all of this prime. Okay, let's go to the next page. And you have 3x squared multiplied by e to the x plus e to the x multiplied by x cubed plus 1. So now that we already have this, we now know that we can just do the multiplication, and anything we get is basically the answer. Just so we can refresh our understanding, we know it's x cubed plus 1 multiplied by e to the x squared, all prime, right? So now we have 3x squared multiplied by e to the x, the same thing as saying 3x squared e to the x, right? And then we have plus e to the x multiplied by x cubed plus 1. We can multiply through with it and just say 3x squared e to the x plus x cubed e to the x plus e to the x. So that is it. You can have this as your answer. This is basically your answer. But one thing I have to mention is this as well. You may have a teacher that says, okay, whenever you do your questions for me, whenever you get to the final answer, I like you to make sure to basically simplify and factor things out. So if you have a teacher that wants to factor, or if you just like factoring stuff out just for, I guess, being more clear-headed, so I'm going to just show you how to do it. From here, the arrow will be at the top. So if you get to this point right here, you just bring this down. I'm showing you how to factor out now. If there's a common factor, plus, and this is all multiplied by each other, that will be e to the x multiplied by x cubed plus 1, right? All you have to do is just bring out e to the x. Same thing here, just saying e to the x, right, multiplied by 3x squared, right, plus x cubed plus 1. Or you can just say e to the x, and then you put x cubed at the first since it has the highest power, plus 3x squared plus 1. Yay! So this is the answer. I would say that you can put the answer first of all in this way that I'm boxing in the red, or you can put it this way that I am boxing in the green. So both of them are perfectly acceptable. One is just that the answer is factoring common factor on both sides of the plus sign, or of the plus sign, right, or the addition symbol, while the other one is not factoring anything, is actually including every single term without factoring anything out. So that's this one up here, and then the second one down here is factoring things out. That's all. So this is just basically preference. Hopefully this video was helpful, and the previous videos I've been doing are also helpful. Please make sure to Give this video a like if you like the way I explained it. Give me suggestions. Make sure to subscribe, as well as I'm currently looking for someone to help me edit my videos so I can make more videos for you guys. And if you know anyone who's really good with editing videos, or you're good with editing videos yourself, please make sure to just email me. My email is going to be in the description box. Please email me and then send me whatever you have, and then let's see how we can work together. So yeah, my videos are not that complicated to edit. I just want to be able to save more time. That's why I'm trying to get someone who is going to edit, and it's going to be paid, inshallah. So this is not like free stuff. So yeah, just basically email me. Yeah, so I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I hope that you're gonna do fine in your tests, your assignments, and your exams. And basically, if you just want a quick overview, it's basically the thing. If you watch my video from video 1 and introduction and the second video, it'll give you a better breakdown. But if you want a quick one, basically we first of all identified, I'm going to use a black pen now, identified that we needed to use the product rule because there were two different subfunctions multiplied by each other, and in order for us to differentiate, we needed to use the product rule. So we talked about the general way product rule would look like, general way that the differentiation step of a product rule is gonna look like, basically the differentiation style, which is what we did right here. We have the third black arrow, then we just compare that. We made sure to see what the f of x is in our actual question and what the g of x is in an actual question. Then we just substituted it, right? We substituted what f of x is. So we did x cubed plus 1 prime multiplied by g of x plus basically the g of x prime plus, and I also explained that you can either do g prime of x multiplied by f of x plus f prime of x multiplied by g of x. I did that in the box video. When you do all of that, you do all of differentiation, you just have to multiply and add them up and you get your answer. So that's what I did. So I wish everyone a safe everything, and make sure you take care of yourself, and make sure you to give the videos a thumbs up. It helps me with the algorithm, and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum.